Welcome back to Episode 8, The Idea That Became ZAAGOB ERP. If you've been with us through the past episodes, well, you know exactly the kind of fire we've been walking through. Let's dive right back into that exact pain point that literally changed everything for us. Remember that ghost haunting our bakery? That quiet phantom loss of over 39,000 naira that was just bleeding us dry from a single product? Man, that number wasn't stolen, it wasn't invested, it was just lost. And at first, our reaction to this didn't look like some grand big idea. It honestly just looked like pure, unadulterated frustration. We were operators, right? Just trying to run a food business, and we finally woke up to the fact that we were operating completely blind.
Escaping the blind spot, the fragile manual fix.
So to stop the bleeding, we just built our own manual system. We couldn't really blame the market, so we had to fix the system that we simply didn't have. It was super basic, but it became our absolute anchor. We just wrote 3 simple things down every single day. What did we actually produce? What did we sell? And what is left over? That's it. Just a piece of paper and a pen to track production, record sales, and try to stay consistent. And hey, for a brief moment, it felt like a massive win. We actually felt safe, and it was working. But it was also incredibly stressful. While it was working, it suddenly hit us that this so-called safety was actually a trap. Why? Because everything depended on this exhausting, flawless discipline from us every single day. The reality of how fragile this whole setup was set in fast. Because think about it, if you forget just one single entry in the rush of the day, maybe you gave out a sample to a customer and forgot to log it, or you tossed a burnt tray without thinking, or if you delay just one record because the ovens are blazing hot and you tell yourself, I'll just write it down tonight. But then exhaustion hits and tonight becomes tomorrow morning and your memory of what actually happened gets fuzzy.
Or if just one single number is wrong, say a 5 looks like an 8, boom, the entire picture breaks. The stock doesn't balance, the whole thing becomes unreliable again, and that phantom loss comes right back. The suspense of knowing our entire survival rested on us having 0 human error, it was terrifying.
When existing tools fail, searching for a lifeline. So the big question became, how do we make this easier and more reliable? Not just for us, but for any food business trying to stay in control. We explored our options and hit a total brick wall. Option A was spreadsheets. But man, they were just too complex, way too easy to break, and honestly, too dependent on having the skill to manage them while you're literally covered in flour. Then we had option B, generic apps. We tried them, but they completely misunderstood our reality. They were built for general business, not for our kind of business. Most tools out there were built for pure theory, completely ignoring reality. They definitely were not built for daily batch production, where raw ingredients transform entirely. They couldn't handle the wildly fluctuating costs of local markets, they didn't account for real-world waste, and they were way too rigid for the informal, chaotic operations of a food business. Systems that think like operators. The epiphany. So we faced a massive decision. Do we keep managing manually and stressing out, or do we build something that actually fits? That right there was the turning point. Because, listen, we weren't trying to build fancy software. We weren't tech guys sitting in a glass office. We were trying to build a system that actually thinks like an operator. Something incredibly simple, something highly practical. It had to answer the real, gritty questions we asked ourselves every single day. What did I produce today? What did I sell? What is my actual profit? And crucially, where is my money leaking? We needed reality, not theory. It needed to catch those mistakes automatically so we didn't have to guess anymore. The birth of ZAAGOB, from pain to structure. That's exactly how the idea started taking shape. Not as some random app, but as a direct solution to a problem we were literally living. Every single feature came directly from our experience on the floor. Every structure came from our pain. We just kept asking what would have helped us earlier. And slowly, what started as a super stressful manual system became something structured, repeatable, and scalable. That is how ZAAGOB ERP was born, from absolute necessity, not from code. And the core goal was crystal clear. No food business should ever have to guess their profit again.
A completely new phase, the journey of building. But actually building it, well, that was a whole different challenge. Because turning an idea into a working system is definitely not as simple as it sounds. We were about to enter a completely new phase. Not production, not sales, but building. And it left us with this massive, looming question: what actually happens when bakery operators try to become software builders. Because honestly, that journey came with its own set of incredibly painful, unexpected lessons.
Watch out for the next episode, Building What We Wish We Had, where we dive headfirst into that massive challenge. Please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the drop, because we were about to find out what hurts more, running a broken bakery or trying to code your way out of one. See you next time.